Buddy, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and I'm reading some angel cards for you today for the week beginning December the 10th to the 16th, 2018. So without further ado, I will start shuffling and let's see what messages the angels have for us that can blow us away and just give us some general guidance so we can make better choices and make our way through this crazy world called life. So Omega, the card is around victory, and it's to encourage you to keep going. Basically, I can't say it much more simple than that. Keep going. There is a good thing ahead. You are getting to the finish line. Keep going. Don't give up. Pretty straightforward. So let's go with Tuesday now. The 11th of December. Ooh, I've just realised the 11th of December is actually the anniversary of when I started my social media account, One Grounded Angel. I was already using the website. I was using it as a blog for some kind of creative writing of my own, but it sort of morphed into this, unexpectedly, this sort of business, I guess, or this channel for reaching people and bringing some light into their lives and helping them find their own light to get through the darkness. And December the 11th was the day I started, and I remember that because it's the 11th, and the 11th is a favourite day of mine. So you might have to do a bit of an announcement around that. Anyway, that's note to self. Tuesday, what do you desire? So coming back to what it is you set out to do, you'll notice this angel is in a garden of things that are blooming. She doesn't look too sure. It looks a bit sad, actually, and I think that's because she has brought to fruition things that she didn't actually want. And we do that intentionally and accidentally sometimes. So we can do it accidentally by blocking what we actually want. For example, we ask for a relationship, we go out and date a whole series of losers. So it could be that you have been acting in ways that are not in alignment with what you actually want and what you set out to do. Big energy coming through around what you set out to do. We're at the end of the year. People naturally do a kind of life review or life audit this time of year, and maybe it might be worth revisiting what it is you wanted to bring to fruition in 2018, and where have you gone off track, and how can you get what you want and what you truly desire. If you were aiming for a goal that someone told you would be good for you, it would look good on your CV, or it is the right thing to do, you need to ask yourself some big questions. Is that what I actually want, or is it what other people would want? People can be very well intentioned, but they can't help their filters. They can't help but relate what they want or what they would want in your situation. It's not that they're trying to force you to copy them. It's just that's where they naturally gravitate to. And I talked about how we can go off. We can aim for the wrong things or bring through unhelpful results accidentally and deliberately, and sometimes we do it deliberately because we think we don't deserve better. So there might be some questions you need to ask yourself there around goals and what it is you want for your life. You're in charge here. It's not the universe. It's not a matter of waiting around for the universe to give you something better. The universe can only give you what you're reflecting, what you're putting out there. So if you're going around saying, the universe is really testing me, it keeps giving me all these challenges, the universe is just reflecting where you're at, and it's probably because you're conflicted inside, you're aiming for things that aren't right for you, or you're completely denying your own power by being pessimistic or seeing yourself as a victim. That was a massive segue. Wednesday, love. Really don't see this card very often. It's kind of, states the essence of all these cards, really, around love. It's not romantic love. It's talking about the divine love within all of us and how we are all manifestations of God. And I know people who've grown up in an institutional religion kind of upbringing will find that a little bit difficult because they are used to putting God on a pedestal and seeing God. I don't like using him. I know a lot of people use him. I don't believe God is either gender, actually. Not a human, it's an energy. But people will put God on a pedestal and say, look to God for guidance. What should I do with my life? There's nothing wrong with that. But they will, when things aren't going well, for them, they'll think it's because God is trying to punish them. If they do something wrong, they think they need to apologize to God. That's not really my personal view around God. My view is that God is an energy that's within all of us. And when we are doing kind acts, when we are serving, when we are in alignment with what is right for us, that is when we're bringing through the divine energy of God. And this card asks you to look at really how you're doing that in your life. How are you embodying God? How are you bringing through love and light? That's a better way to put it. God is really provoking word to use. It's on the card, but let's go with love. It's a stronger word because it's less, people have got less judgment and less hang-ups associated with it. So how are you bringing through that love and light that we're all here to bring through? Regardless of whether you see yourself as a light worker or not, you are here to help in some ways to make this world a better place. Maybe you're involved in making the planet more sustainable and for future generations. Maybe you're involved in raising your children to be kind humans that also stand up for themselves. Remember, kind, there's no such thing as being too kind, but you also don't want to raise your children to let people walk all over them either. What else can you be doing here? It could be voluntary work that you're doing. It could be anything you're doing to bring love into, or to shine light into places where it's really needed. And I'm not just talking about extreme situations here. It might be people in your life who've lost their way, and they've lost their way. That's I'll leave it at that. So Thursday, sacral chakra. The chakras or chakras, I don't know how to say it. I say both ways because, I like to mix things up. It's the second chakra in that alignment of 7 primary chakras. It is the one associated with emotions, with sexuality, with... I should be able to remember this. To an extent, it's about your identity, although that's probably more of the base of the root chakra in terms of your identity and belonging. It is... I can't remember. This will come back to me later on, but creativity. There it is. So creativity, which is really an expression of your own inner gifts and your own intuition, really. When you have a good idea and you express it on canvas or on paper or in your garden or whatever it is, you're acting on your intuition because those ideas have come from somewhere. So sacral chakra is looking for where you might be out of balance in this area. Maybe you're over-emotional in terms of overreacting to situations instead of looking for your way through. Maybe that's pretty relevant to some of you. You've gone straight into defensive mode of poor me instead of looking at how you can actually move through this situation. Creativity, maybe some of you need some more creativity to express your emotions. That's a really powerful way of getting your emotions out from in your stomach and out there so you can make sense of them and have some clarity. And sexual energy. Look, sexual energy is actually an expression of your divinity as well. It's because it's intimacy. It's an intimate act, and it's how you connect with people, the right people. I mean, not just randoms. Although no judgment. But what I mean is, in the spiritual context, we're talking about. Sex is a divine act. It's a very intimate, very spiritual act where you're connecting with someone on a level that you can't even see. And that is why sometimes we have energetic cords attaching us to people we actually didn't really have substantial relationships with, but we're still connected. So it's talking about the energy of sex and where you might have some hang-ups. Maybe again, religion could be coming into play here. Maybe you've got some hang-ups and you feel like you're too constricted to express yourself sexually because of those. You've got those good girl, bad girl type polarities existing in your mind. Maybe you are blocked. Maybe you're not making enough time for sexual expression, which is to the detriment of your relationship. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. Now, Archangel Raphael came through with this. I'm probably not going to post this on socials, but he is associated with healing. Again, I've used a masculine pronoun. Angels don't have genders. For expediency, I go with he because Raphael is depicted as such, as you can see. But never one, it's kind of what we think of them. So he's about healing and relationships too, actually. So it could be, I feel, connected to this card in terms of some of you needing to do some healing around any blocks in terms of your intimacy or your creativity or perhaps emotions. Anyway, pretty broad there, covering all the bases. Where should I go next? Go with the goddess cards for Friday. Receptivity. So love needs to flow in both directions for it to expand. And as I mentioned here, we're all here. Sorry, I mentioned previously, we're all here to help love expand and to embody that. If you are great at giving to other people, but depriving yourself, not letting people help you, not letting them support you, pulling away, you're blocking the flow of love. If you are take, everything, I need it all, but not giving anything to anyone else. You never get in touch with friends to see how they're doing. You talk to friends about all your problems and never listen to theirs, never give them scope to, you never remember their birthdays or what's going on in their lives. You maybe you trying to think of different ways, because this is not very common. Most people are, particularly women, more about giving than they are receiving, whereas I'm talking here about more about receiving and taking. And that often comes from a lack mentality. You feel like there's not enough for you, so you've got to take everything you can, or some safety fears there. Anyway, whatever way you are, this is asking you to try and get some balance there. What can you do to redress that balance? Maybe you could do the opposite more, or you could look at what might be going on underneath that's stopping you from letting that love flow in both directions, which is what we're all here to do. Saturday. Sure if this is the right card deck actually, but we'll soon find out. They're not subtle, these guys. They will tell me. Oh, random shuffling, but the card has come out. Compassion. So I touched on this, I guess, to a degree with that kind of love stuff in terms of, and kindness here. So having compassion for people who might not be doing the best they can at the moment, and perhaps that's having an adverse effect on you. But having some compassion for them, obviously not necessarily letting them behave in ways that are detrimental or disrespectful to you, but you can, having compassion for where they're at and why this might be going on can be helpful. And maybe look for ways to be more compassionate today, to actively remember love is a doing word. Massive Attack were right. So there's a good 90s music throwback there for you. Love is a doing word. What can you do to actually to bring this energy alive and be compassionate towards someone who really needs it? And sometimes it might not be anything grand. It might be just small things. But certainly it starts with being aware of what people need and considering that where they might be coming from and some of the experiences that might have shaped their kind of disposition or behaviour, where they're coming from. Oh, okay. Again, I've got two cards. This annoys me when this happens. Anyway, they're very, very different. So children, for those of you who... there's so many different things that come through this card. I'm going to go really quickly over all of them. It could be telling you that children are coming into your life. It could be asking you to spend some quality time with your children. It could be asking you to let out your inner child, do something fun, something playful, something that reminds you how good it is to feel alive, something that reminds you of the wow factor of this planet, the wonder there is. That could be like going to an aquarium or something that blows your mind, where you realize how incredible it is to be in this world. Spiritual growth. I mean, just about every card is prompting you for spiritual growth in some area. So this card is quite general, and it's, I mean, how this lands for you is going to be so individual. It might be asking you to keep going on the path that you're going on. It might be asking you to look for ways to develop. Maybe you need to be pushing yourself more. If you're getting prompted to read a particular book or do an online course or whatever, maybe go with that. But to remember ultimately that everything that happens is there's some opportunity for spiritual growth, and how can you respond to that best? What a mixed bag we have this week. I don't even know where to start with this. I think I've put one of the cards back. I have. What happened to that sacral chakra card? Oh, there it is. Okay. Whoops. Right, that took a ridiculously long time to collate, didn't it? So we've got messages about love and compassion, giving and receiving in equal measure, bringing more compassion through to the world, and really honouring our divine self in terms of bringing more love and light into the world, as stated. That would be the strongest theme, I would say. We've got some messages around healing as well, and that sacral chakra, and I guess some practical stuff in terms of keeping on the right path and looking at where you might have gone off the wrong path. Gone off the right path, where you might be out of alignment with what you actually want. Those sound contradictory, but they're not. You'll know what I mean if that speaks to you. Thank you very much for watching. My social media will have each of these cards each day, hopefully explained a little bit better than what I've done right now, but you never know. You've got to trust your intuition. I can't state that enough. You must always listen to what's going on for you, because I have to be really general with these cards because so many people are watching. I don't know where they're at in their life, what's going on in their circumstances. So listen to your intuition. It's a really noisy vehicle going past. Sorry about that. Anyway, my Instagram is at One Grounded Angel. My Facebook page is called One Grounded Angel, ONE, not the number one. And you can reach me on my website, www.onegroundedangel.com. There is a bookings tab there. If you want to know more information about my healing work, there is the healing tab there. And particularly if this reading has triggered something for you around the sacral chakra or around the flow of love in your life, whatever it is, you might benefit from some personal healing. So look up and see if that's right for you. But there are many, many pathways to healing. I can only speak to what's worked for me and been so transformative in my personal life, without which I wouldn't be doing this work right now, because I would still be battling all those confidence blocks and self-worth issues and fears about showing up and being seen. Anyway, I won't give you the full spiel. Thank you for watching. Have a terrific week, and I will be here once again next week to read for you. Take care.